Welcome to Women in Business Around the World, a series of lightning talks. My name is Carla Ruffer, and I am the Outreach Coordinator for the Center for European Studies at the University of Florida. The speakers in this series will discuss their experience as women in business or their research on women in business in relation to Europe, the Middle East, and globally. These talks are designed to provide flashes of information and insight, but you are welcome to follow up with the presenters independently or to reach out to us. So without further ado, let's begin. Our first speaker is Adoracion Perez-Troya. Her talk is titled Women on Boards, Status, Questions, and Recent Advances in the European Union. Dr. Perez-Troya teaches commercial and company law at the University of Alcalá in Madrid, Spain. Her current research focuses on corporate and finance and gender law. Her latest published work in 2021 is a book chapter titled Corporate Governance and Gender Diversity in Europe, a strategic win-win opportunity in the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And with that, I will hand it over to Dr. Perez-Troya.
So thank you very much for inviting me to this event. I am very honored to take part in it. I think it's very important to reflect on the role of women in global business and to do so from different perspectives. My talk will focus on the importance of women's representation on company boards, and I will briefly outline the current situation in the European Union and in the member states, today 27, which retain the capacity to legislate either by improving the common legislation adopted within the Union or by regulating in those areas where the European Union is not yet in a position to legislate. This is important to remember for the issue under discussion related to women's rights in the economic arena. Regarding the issue, first of all, I would like to raise two introductory questions. The first, why are company boards so important? The second, why is so important for boards to be gender balanced? The first is easy to answer. Together with the general meetings, the decision-making body of the shareholders, boards of directors are the structures in which the most important economic decisions are made in companies. The board is in charge of the approval of major strategic and financial decisions. Accordingly, boards of directors are seen as an important corporate governance mechanism. Corporate governance is concerned with how power and control over resources and decision-making in a company are distributed, and give us a picture about the rights and responsibilities of different stakeholders towards a company. As is well known, the primary stakeholders in corporations are its investors, that is, shareholders, and together with them, there are the employees, customers, and suppliers or creditors. Also, with the increasing attention on corporate social responsibility, the concept of a stakeholder has been extended to include communities, leading to the recognition that companies have an important role to play in relation of global sustainability and human rights, as in particular the rights to equality between men and women. Consequently, good corporate governance is one that seeks a balance between the different stakeholders, considering that the own survival of the business and the growth of the company depends on this balance. But bad corporate governance is that which favors only one type of stakeholder. This is the case of companies whose boards of directors seek only short-term profit to please shareholders. The idea that companies should have good corporate governance is currently uncontroversial and is supported in the sense mentioned by the G20 OECD principles of corporate governance. So, having answered the first question, the second one does not seem so difficult. So I am going to answer the question by asking another one to you. Do you think that good corporate governance is better guaranteed by a board composed only of men who in the picture on the left are moreover all white, all of similar age and possibly with a similar background? Or do you think good corporate governance would be better guaranteed by a diverse board of directors like the one in the picture on the right, composed of men and women of different races, different ages, and possibly different backgrounds? It seems reasonable to understand that it is better for the board to be diverse because it will be broad-minded, not single-minded. And this is why companies with diversity in boards, as many studies show, have better performance because the board can take decisions with a broader strategic vision. Obviously, the most basic and fundamental issue for diversity is a balanced composition of men and women, because more than half of the population are women. Of course, having women on the board does not guarantee that a particular company will have a good performance, because that is not guaranteed either if the company only includes men. The performance will depend on whether the women and men appointed to the board are smart, high prepared, and have good business insight. Well, what are company boards in the European Union like? Are they more like the picture on the left or on the right? Do they have a gender balance, considering that balance is when the 40%, 60% rule is met and women make up at least 40%? Well, the answer is no. Let's look at the statistics of the biggest companies, the listed ones in all 27 countries. In all member states of the European Union, men make up the majority of board directors and women are underrepresented. Only in France, where women hold 45% of board positions, there is a gender balance on boards. 5 countries are over 35%, but not yet in the 40%. These 5 countries are Italy, Belgium, Sweden, Netherlands, and Germany. Below this, there is another group of 4 which exceed 30%, Finland, Denmark, Austria, and Spain. Looking at the bottom, the most underrepresented countries, we have 10 countries where the share is still below 20%. The worst case, Estonia, with less than 10% of women. Looking at the whole picture, we see that the situation among the 27 member states is very different. This large difference shows the failure of the European Union in establishing a common regulation, which was attempted with the presentation of a directive in 2012 that has not yet been approved and remain blocked due to the lack of consensus. So the question that we can ask ourselves then is, why is the situation better in some member states than in others? To answer the question, it is interesting to see the progress in the different states. We will quickly refer to three significant. One is Spain, whose evolution is a gradual upward curve. We have gone from less than 5% of female directors in 2003 to nearly 30% in 2020. If we look at the evolution of France over the same period, we can see that there was a significant jump in 2011 and that in 2016 gender balance was achieved with more than 40% of female directors. If we look at the evolution of Italy, we also observed that share was very low in 2003 with less than 5% until 2011 and with a significant jump in 2014, 2015, going from a representation in 2013 of just 15% to an accelerated rise in just a few years later. All these differences are related with how the issue has been dealt with in each member state. 9 member states have introduced gender quotas for boys in the laws. The first was Spain in 2007. We can see that in 2011, Belgium, France, Italy, and Netherlands introduced gender quotas. Later, Germany in 2015, Austria and Portugal in 2017, and Greece in 2020. We can see that only Spain, France, and Italy have a gender quota of 40%. In other countries, the law is below equilibrium level. The criteria for applicability of the gender quota is limited in the 3 known countries to big companies, including public listed companies and companies not listed, but with a defined size, tending to exclude all small and medium-sized enterprises. Other interesting points of comparison are the lasting of temporary nature of the quota, which is permanent in most countries, and the fundamental issue of sanctions in case of non-compliance. In Spain, for example, there is no sanction, and this explains why there has not been a jump forward and why we haven't achieved an equilibrium as in France. The most commonly prescribed sanction for non-compliance is the open seat. It means that the chair that have to be for a woman remain empty until compliance. In some countries, like in Italy, there are monetary sanctions for the company. And in some others, like in France, the directors don't receive payments until the company comply with the quota. As far as I know, in all these countries with sanctions, companies hadn't have problems to fulfill the quota, while in Spain, without sanctions, companies don't make enough efforts for having gender balanced boards. All of this give, moreover, of the issue today under discussion food for thought about the nature of the laws and the importance of sanctions. But regarding of the issue today, this brief panoramic allows us for some conclusions and final remarks. 5. 1. There are 9 member states with gender quotas. 9 of the member states without gender quotas have corporate governance codes with recommendations. And 9 member states have neither gender quotas nor recommendations. Comparison shows that gender quotas are an effective policy for increasing the share of women on boards. Countries with quotas have a higher share of women on their boards than countries without. The three in the top position are countries with quotas: France, Italy, and Belgium. Third, the comparison also shows that gender quotas without sanctions are less effective in achieving targets than legislations with sanctions. The three in the top position are countries with quotas and sanctions: France, Italy, and Belgium. Or despite considerable progress in some member states, very few boards are gender balanced in Europe. The gender gap remains particularly high in executive directorships, and the majority board chairs are men. And finally, the underrepresentation of women on boards is still one of the key gender gaps in the European Union. Without closing this gender gap, gender equality in economic decision-making cannot be reached. More harmonization, of course, is needed at European level. Thank you very much for your attention. Comments are welcome to my email. And thank you to the organization and all the group. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I want to extend a heartfelt thank you, as do all of my colleagues, to the audience for joining us, to our speakers for sharing their expertise, and the U.S. Department of Education. We are especially grateful to them because without Title VI funding for National Resource Centers, we'd be unable to present this program to you. Be sure to check out all of our centers, where we hope to see you at another presentation or talk in the future. Thank you all very much, and have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. And thank you on behalf of all of us.